So I want to make a quick behind the scenes video of my setup. Basically I have bushes here with snowflakes, Bascayo snowflakes. I mounted them to some PVC, just screwed them in, screwed them into the PVC and wrapped the wires up straight up. This is one run here, so there's no power injection. It just goes straight up to there. I put in eye hooks in the wall and I just zip tied them there, and it goes down to the floor, so it just gravity just holds it there, and it's hanging from the hook up top. They all come back here. These particular ones, I decided, because I wanted them offset, I went with these metal hooks that just slip under the siding crease. They hold up pretty well. Had some issues, actually. You can see this one here is pulling out. Put that back in. High wind can knock them off, but for the most part they lasted. All of these are run out of this wonderful box here. In there we've got, got some water in there, just dripped in. We've got the F4 with the power supply. This tool case was $5 at Home Depot. These are sealed handles, so it's waterproof. And this box here is one of my old controllers, still controlling some things. It's my old LOR. When I redid this landscaping, through that box down there, I ran some Cat 5 back to a junction box on the other side of the house. So that's all underground. When I did the landscaping, we put in all these little tiny shrubs, and I used to have big ones. So I built some cages for some lights, just to get some lights on there. On this side of the house, have the same thing. The poles with the 6 snowflakes, those are going down to, in that box over there, I'll get there in a minute, but that's a differential, actually that's a Raspberry Falcon Pi cap. Up in my eaves, you can see those are Frank Costume's old super strips. They're still hanging in there. They've been up there for, I lost track of how many years, but some of them I could see up there. There's a couple white that are out, but they've lasted a really long time. They are run from Ren 48 LSDs that are one on the side of the house in there, and another one inside the garage over there. What else we have out here? So over here, got some 20-watt floods. In here, as I mentioned, is the Falcon. This one I got at Harbor Freight. It was dirt cheap. In there, it's just a power supply with Pi cap. Power supply, it's a 12-volt power supply underneath there. Actually, it's a 24-volt for these lights. If I come out here, we've got the main controller for most of my yard is in this Husky. Again, got this for $5 on Black Friday, either last year or the year before. There's gonna be water in here. Gotta flip this up quick. So in there, I built this. There's my Falcon F16 with the differential expansion, with the expansion port. There's 2 power supplies under the plastic. The whole thing lifts out, but I don't want to do that now because it's wet out here. So that's driving a bunch of different things. It's driving mainly these 5 mini mega trees. We had some wind last night, so that's why they're all leaning forward. I gotta fix them. Actually, I'm taking them down, so it probably doesn't matter. So I've got one channel running to these pixels on Bascayo strips. Another channel, another cable separate for the stars. Got some lights falling out. So there's 5 of those. I also have an expansion cable coming up to the front here to run this power, actually this expansion cable here. Again, these boxes, Harbor Freight. I just bought another one today, bought a few more with a coupon. These boxes are $2 each. they fit a power supply, and in this case that's all I have. There's just a power supply. I could fit a board next to it, but what I have here is this power supply driving all my arches. And I made what we finally call my pipe bombs. In those PVC tubes is ESP pixel sticks that are plugged into the power supply with some power injection. So it's running those. Those were here for many years, these arches. These are just HDPE arches with strips inside. We got some other Boscayo flakes in between the arches. You can see those. Those I actually ran back to the expansion port. Again, another $5 Home Depot box. Here we have a power supply and a differential expansion. So that's running, it's running the snowflakes, and it's also running all of my really big bulbs. You get a sense of that here, the line of really big bulbs going down over there. So that's mainly, that's all the pixel based, other than Megatree, which I'll get to. The other thing I have here is, again, running the LEDs. Regular LEDs is my LOR board. This one is, you can see, it is hardwired. I do run some for Halloween with wireless. So I have a wireless adapter. I replaced the one of the chips and it ran wireless. And here's the Megatree. Hopefully I can get this picture of you before the sun goes down. Up at the top is a plywood cutout. It's a plywood topper with hooks. You'll notice at the top of the strips are metal tabs. I fabricated those. I cut them into a hole and I screw the strips in. Down at the bottom, I basically just use tent stakes. You can't see them there. I guess you can really see them. I have the tent stakes with zip ties. They're zip tied to the tent stake, and what I did is I tucked in, you can see here I tucked in the bottom to stop this from rotating. That worked pretty well this year. Once I tucked those in, they didn't go anywhere. I'll have to cut some of the excess off, but it's a portable hole. Got some clasps, and look around that way. Portable hole with some turnbuckles into 4-foot rebar. Portable hole. That hole there actually seized after the first year. It rusted in, and I didn't want to break the concrete, so that's permanent. So when I'm ready, I just take everything off, we tilt this forward, and we just carry the whole thing and store it on next to the house. Goes up. So the front is just held down by the 24 stakes on the 24 strands. The back, I just have some relatively heavy-duty rope going up and around the hooks up there. I come down to rebar down here, and then for added strength, I took the extra rope and ran it around the pole a couple times, so it's got some extra tension here to hold everything. This entire thing, Megatree, is controlled by an E680X, which is sitting right there. This is one of the oldest things I had. I've had this thing around for a while. It was an E681, and then I upgraded it with the expansion port. So that is basically, just one other thing over here, we've got some like floating candy canes. I wanted these a little higher because I usually have candy canes out here, just the old-fashioned ones. I took them in already. So these are just floating candy canes. And then we have the talking light bulb. Some more candy canes. I found that this was pretty good. To stop these from spinning, I just ran a rope, a little string, little mason string, all the way down the back of all of them. We had some really big wind today, so that's why it's turned, but for the most part it held, and if not, I just came up and fixed it. So that worked really nicely. Down here, Again, I was running some standard AC stuff. Another LOR. And there's 12 volt power supply. And in here is a lovely Renard SS16 with a remote wireless connector. So you just tap this into the chip there, replace the chip, and you turn your controller into a wireless controller. The hot glue, for some reason, doesn't stick out here. I gotta find better hot glue. So that's pretty much my setup. Got some old blow molds. Not really a fan of blow molds, but I inherited these, and they're from my uncle, and so they're older than me. So these, like Santa Claus is definitely older than me. Snowman and reindeer, not so much. Sliding Santa. Over here, probably the oldest things I own are these candles. These, I mean, I'm not telling you how old I am, but let's just say that these are more than half a century old. And that's pretty much it. Next year we expand to this side of the house.